قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا. Suratul-Kahfi, Surah number 18, ayat number 109. Qul, say. You can see from the construct there is law and there is la. Whenever this construct comes, then the construct implies had something something, would something something. So we have maintained that law, had. Kana is in the past tense, usually was, but we will actually translate it in a manner suitable to indicate the past tense. Al-Bahru is the subject, is the ism of Kana. So had the sea been, had the sea was, no, had the sea been, no, midadan. I mean, some of the verses are not meant for translation, not meant for explanation. It's just meant for appreciation. You are so much awestruck by these that you sometimes feel that you should rather shut up and appreciate rather than trying to explain it to you, trying to explain. This is, if any verse overwhelms you, it overcomes you, overpowers you with beauty, this is the verse. This is the verse. The way it comes out in the Arabic language, and I'm not even talking about the specific language over here, the way it comes out in the Arabic language as conveyed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is something so very special, cannot be replicated. And you will understand why, and also explain why the translations, the existing ones, are so very deficient. And I'm not even trying to make an assertion that this translation that you are going to see is superior, but we will get through this English translation. I'll try to help you with a sense of awe why what the Arabic is able to convey, the English would fall short, at least with the same amount of words. If we put brackets and brackets and brackets and explain and explain and explain, then perhaps it could come sort of somewhat closer. So this word midadan, and you can see another word madadan at the end, all of these are connected. That adds to the profoundness and the beauty, but when you check the dictionary, check the translations, midadan the meaning is different, madadan the meaning is different. How are these connected then if it is from the same root word? We need to understand that. The root word is madada, but when the second letter and the third letter is the same, the verbal pattern becomes madda, which means to extend. He extended, or it extended. Now, midadan, even the dictionary meaning suggests that it is ink, but how is it related to the concept of to extend or extension? How is it related? Let's try to have a sense of that. So extension, so there is the column, there is the pen, and the ink sort of extends. It's an extension out of the pen, and that is what is used to write. So that is how the meaning comes about. It's not just important to understand the meaning when we look at the translation, but to develop a sense of how the meaning was derived in the first place. Okay, so the ink extends and the ink flows, so that midadan, ink. Okay, so had the sea been an extension of ink, so if you say had the sea been ink for the words of my Lord, it already becomes so much more deficient because the root word meaning is not captured. With this, somewhat the meaning is captured. Had the sea been an extension of ink, had the sea, not an ink pot, had the sea been an extension of ink for writing the words of my Lord. Li kalimati is for the words Rabbi of my Lord, but writing is sort of implied. What is ink used for? For writing. If it is implicit, you can either put a bracket, that's I'm fine with that, that's okay. But that is required in trying to convey the meaning. Had the sea been ink for the words of my Lord? No. It's just not even half, a partial, a limited partial connotation that is able to capture. Had the sea been an extension of ink for writing the words of my Lord? La is the second part of law and la. So would and la also means surely, so we'll double it up. Now the word noon, fa and dal, nafada, there are two verbal forms. One is nafada and one is nafida. The verbal form nafida is used over here, which means to be exhausted, right? To be exhausted. And nafada means something else, to pass through. I mean, that is not the form which is used, but to pass through, the ink passes through the pen. Secondary meaning, but that is also connected. But the primary meaning is obviously what we need to focus on more. Nafida, to be exhausted. The sea would surely, because al-bahru is used again, la nafida al-bahru. So that is the subject. La nafida al-bahru. The sea would surely. I'm using the word would, I'm using the word surely, both of which is indicated by the word, the harf lam over here, la nafida, okay? La by independently it means surely, but in a construct when law and la appears together, it means would, had and would, the two-part sentence. The sea would, again, would be the primary meaning in this case because it's a construct, had would, had something, would something. The sea would surely be exhausted. Nafida, would surely be exhausted. Qabla, before, or I have used ere, ear. So that is again, that's my stylistic preference, biblical English. Qabla, ear. An is that. Tanfada. Tanfada is the present form of nafida. It's not the nafada form. It may look nafada form, ta, nafada. No, but it's tanfada. It's nafida, yanfadu. And an forces it to become yanfada. And it's a U form, so tanfada. The sea would surely be exhausted. Here, now how do we have that meaning of that and that over here? Here that. Here it could ever be the case that, like that the meanings comes through. Here before it could ever be the case that. Kalimatu Rabbi. That what? That the words of my Lord exhaust. Tanfada in the present form. So the verb is there and the subject, kalimatu is again subject of tanfada, that part. So the sea would surely be exhausted. Here it could ever be the case that the words of my Lord exhaust. The words of my Lord is the subject, kalimatu is in the rafa status. Kalimatu Rabbi is the connected idafa. Next, the next part. Wa. So and again a law is starting. It's interesting. Would. Now and would doesn't make sense. Ji'na is ja'a. From ja'a it is derived. He came, and ji'na, we came. So we came. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not come. It's not talking about that. But ja'a, and then if the preposition be follows that, think. To come with. Be means with. Be means with, the preposition. Be means with. To come with. What does it mean? To bring. So that is why we would translate as bring. Even if we had brought. Get how we connected all of it together? Even. So instead of wow, we are translating it as and. Even if. Because it's wow is a connector basically, right? Even if we had brought. Even if we had brought. So the bring concept is coming, the weak concept is coming, and bring and love, would concept is also coming. And wow, we have used something like walau, even if, like that. Even if we had brought, the had would construct. Bimithlihi, B is already taken care of. Mithlihi, the like thereof. Like it, right? Mithlihi, like it. Like what? Like the al-bahr, like the sea. Madadan, as refill. Now, again, that was ink, this is refill. What is happening? Again, ink and refill. I have chosen this word so that we could connect, but this is not the best way to connect it. So I'll try my level best to again connecting it to the root word now. Madadan. Again, the word used, the same verbal form is madada, and when the second letter and the third letter is the same, we call it madda, the same root word, to extend. He extended, it extended. Again, mad, the noun form mad. You know the word mad, right? The extension of the sound mad in the Arabic language, same. Now, madad is also derived from the same word. You've heard the term madad, right? Which is another verbal noun form derived from the same root word, madad, which means to help. Where is this coming from? So extension, how is help related to the word extension? So you extend your hand to help someone. So that concept, so to extend your hand to help someone. So madad, that help is coming about. So as help is also okay, as refill is also okay, as extension of how that word relates is also okay. Bimithlihi madadan, as refill, or we could better still say as so again, as an extension of ink to refill for help, we could say that. Even if we had brought the like thereof as an extension of ink, like thereof, like the sea, as an extension of ink to refill for help. So all of those meanings are now coming together. That's what I said at the beginning of the starting, when we were about to start the translation. We cannot replicate this language. What language? Not the Arabic, the usage of the Arabic, as has been used by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to convey this, unless we put brackets and brackets and brackets. And this 3-time repetition, I'll come to that as well. Bimithlihi, the like thereof. This is not able to capture the connotation as is implied, as is intended. The like it, like the like thereof. It's not giving you the complete sense. What does it mean? Like thereof, like the sea. It means, essentially, it means if we were to bring another sea and yet another sea, and if we were to continue to bring seas upon seas, even then the words of my Lord would, the ink would exhaust, but the words of my Lord would not exhaust. That is it. Bimithlihi is in reference to that, not just one. Bimithlihi, it's giving a simile, it's not giving an exact relationship. So even if you were to, the like thereof means even if you were to bring another sea and yet another, and if you were to continue to bring seas upon seas, even then the ink would exhaust, but the words of my Lord would not exhaust. And the madadan and midadan, how it gets connected, how the meaning of help is also, we can bring it together. So madadan as refill, as one word substitute, as a forced one word substitute, I think refill is the best rich word. But it doesn't capture the full nuance, the full meaning, the full connotation. So better would be the like thereof, thereof, you know the meaning now, like thereof as an extension of ink to refill, because ink as refill for the column, the pen, as an extension of ink, and the ink is coming from, not from an ink pot, from seas upon seas, right? And seas upon seas upon seas. So that the like thereof as an extension of ink to refill for help, that madad, help connotation is also coming about. How it beautifully puts together. And this is only possible through a verb root word analysis. Otherwise it's not. You see midadan being translated as ink and madadan is being translated as refill. What is that? Or as reinforcement? What is that? How is it even connected? It's not connected. So this is mind-boggling. The way it has represented, and everything complements everything else, unbelievable, impossible. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have done that. And he could have done that in any language. And he chose Arabic, and we have the work in front of us. Had he done with the English, do you think this would be as rubbish a translation as I have been able to put together? No. And look at the other translations. That doesn't even compare even remotely to what I have got together. And obviously the explanations need to be there as well. Otherwise it again is still deficient. So this again, as I said before the translation, before my attempt to explain to you the translation, this verse is one of those verses. It is more of an appreciation, more of being in awe. That's it. So we'll read it once more. قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا. Say, had the sea been an extension of ink for writing the words of my Lord, the sea would surely be exhausted ere it could ever be the case that the words of my Lord exhaust, even if we had brought the like thereof as refill.